What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Kakis, and today, oh my goodness, a bunch of brand new things have just gone live within Destiny 2. We have the all-new Tanks vs. Briggs heavy metal game mode, as well as a full event built around this game mode, and the final reward of this event is the focus of today's video, an entirely new vehicle type. That's right, it's not a Sparrow, it's not a Skimmer, it's something completely different, and it has guns, as well as some very interesting surprises and qualities that make it a lot better than you might expect. And so, let's get started. Now, first of all, the vehicle in question is called the Griffin. Right now, there's only one of its kind, and like I said, it is the final reward in the heavy metal reward track, as you can see right here, dropping when you get to rank 15. So, how do you rank up quickly? Well, there's two ways to gain rank progress as you're playing the game. The first of all is just completing matches. If you do that and nothing else, you will gain small bits of progress. But the main way is going to be completing these daily and weekly challenges. These will give you not only a bunch of tokens that you can use in the in-game like event shop for various rewards. Honestly, none of the rewards are that insane, but they will also give you massive amounts of progress. You can see right here when I get the weekly challenge done, that is just for completing a bunch of matches, I get, several ranks just for getting that done. Now, you can also speed up your progress by using reroll tokens. These drop from the reward track as well, and what you can actually do is either completely reroll a daily challenge, so if you have one you absolutely hate, you can get a new one, but more importantly, what you want to be using them on is you can reroll completed daily challenges. So you've done all three, they're complete, and then you get a reroll token, you can essentially reset one of them and do another daily challenge for another chunk of progress, guys. Now, that's one way, and the other way is just using silver, and you can see I may have dipped my toe into the silver pool to finish off all the way to rank 15. Shout out to Bungie, hashtag Bungie creator, because they sent me some silver, so there you go, right? Anyways, let's go over what the heck this new Gryphon vehicle type actually does in-game. So first of all, you get two kinds of weapons. It has a primary weapon and a secondary weapon, similar to the primary cannon and the secondary homing missiles with the Briggs and the tanks in heavy metal. So, the primary weapon, as you can see right here, is actually kind of like a shotgun blast. You shoot a bunch of different projectiles, it has a pretty slow rate of fire, and so you want to be up close and personal when you're using it so that more of those projectiles can land. Now, when they do land, as you can see in the background gameplay, you actually do some pretty decent damage. Like, I'm chunking even yellow bars here, so that's not nothing. Now, it's not top DPS, but again, when you are close, when you are landing projectiles, you kind of do chunk. Now, the secondary weapon is where things really get interesting, because it actually says that the secondary weapons inherit the damage type of the driver's equipped super. So you actually get a totally different elemental effect for every single subclass in the game. Let's take a look at them. First of all, I was on my Arc subclass using obviously an Arc super, and when I use my homing missiles with this, I actually will blind enemies I hit. So already, let's pause right there. The fact that you can get blinding homing missiles on your vehicle that is potentially a replacement for your Sparrow is kind of huge. I was testing this in a bunch of different areas. You can see on Hypernet Current where you have to go through the path and then you have enemies that are actually on this pathway. I can be holding down the boost while shooting homing blinding missiles. That's actually pretty good. Now, the missiles don't do very much damage, but again, it's about the blind. How many times when you were on your Sparrow would you wish for an enemy shooting you to become blinded? Well, now with the Griffin, you can actually do that. And again, that is just the tip of the iceberg. Moving on from there, the next light element here is going to be solar. As you can see, if you have a solar super equipped, then you will actually cause a burn effect with these homing missiles. After that, the last light element is going to be void, and for those, you will cause a volatile effect, as you can see right here. And again, just being able to cause even just one enemy volatile, if you then kill the enemy, they're going to explode, and that's a decent amount of ad clearing capabilities. But that's it for the light elements. Now you have the darkness elements. First of all, for Strand, you're actually gonna suspend. And again, this is crazy for taking an enemy completely out of action for a certain amount of time. You can have a pretty powerful, like, yellow bar that would normally just destroy your vehicle. You just launch suspending missiles at him, he can drive right on by, right? And then finally, guys, the last element here is going to be stasis. And for stasis, you get a full freeze effect with your missiles. Remember, you have 2 missiles, so that's 2 enemies completely taken out of commission. So I think overall, guys, clearly the best missile varieties, the best elements to use, so the best super to equip when you're using this thing is going to be either arc or stasis or strand. All 3 of those elements have massive crowd control effects. Like, yeah, sure, volatile is nice, but it doesn't take the enemy out of the fight, whereas suspending, freezing, and blinding will completely nullify that enemy from attacking you back while you're on your vehicle. So again, all 3 of those pretty darn effective. If I was to measure one as the best, I would say arc. And the reason is because the blinding missiles actually have an area of effect. So you can see right here, I'm actually taking it into the Devil's Lair strike, and I was able to do the entire Devil's Lair strike, never getting off of my vehicle. And unlike, you know, potentially doing that on a Sparrow where I'd have to rely on my teammates to do nothing but killing enemies, I was able to get some kills as well. But again, you can see here, I'm able to blind a ton of different thralls with these blinding missiles because the splash damage will blind nearby enemies, whereas the freezing and the suspending, it kind of only gets the ones the missiles actually hit, you know what I mean? So that is the arsenal at your disposal, guys. But let's take some time to talk about the base characteristics of the Griffin. First of all, as you can see right here, you are relatively tanky. Like, I'm getting shot by these enemies, I'm actually going to die before this thing blows up. Now, it's still gonna blow up, it's not invincible, but I feel like it does definitely have more health than a normal Sparrow. On top of that, guys, you have a dramatically different speed. And unfortunately, this part isn't great. You're only at 140 speed, whereas Sparrows and Skimmers are all going to be 190. So you can see right here the difference of, you know, I'm in the Griffin and I'm going as fast as I can along this area in the EDZ, and you can just see how fast I'm going compared to when I switch to a Sparrow, just how much faster I actually do go. So it is a bit of a trade-off, right? Like, you have the ability to literally launch homing missiles, blinding homing missiles at enemies to prevent them from shooting you, but you could also make the argument that, well, you're going to be shot less in a traditional Sparrow or Skimmer because you're going so much faster, it's harder for the enemies to hit you. But on the other hand, how many times have you glitched your Sparrow into somewhere it shouldn't be, but then one random red bar you're not able to deal with and then it just kills you? Not the case with the Griffin. So there's, again, all these different pieces of content in Destiny 2. We saw Hypernet Current, the Devil's Lair, but there's a huge Sparrow section in the Prophecy Dungeon. There's a huge Sparrow section in the Grasp of Avarice Dungeon where you actually have to capture zones on your vehicle. Well, now you can actually shoot back. In that section, like, you're being shot at by enemies, now you can blind them. So potentially the Griffin, like, going back into the different pieces of content in Destiny 2, having access to this wildly different vehicle is gonna make certain pieces of content a lot easier. Maybe not quite as, you know, I'm sure some pieces of content would be harder on the Griffin compared to a normal, faster Sparrow, but I am just loving this for the different possibilities and how different this is than an actual Sparrow, and also just, again, the possibilities that this opens up in the future. Like, are we gonna get different varieties of Griffins that have different weapons, like machine guns instead of this shotgun shot, different kinds of homing missiles and stuff? Like, the possibilities are unironically kind of endless, and this is a crazy new addition to the game regardless, guys. So that's what the Griffin does. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, found this interesting. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.